Welcome to Crafts and Minis. This is my hobby week. You'll notice I didn't say hashtag hobby streak. Wah, wah. The streak ended last week. I woke up one day and I realized, wow, I didn't do the hobby streak yesterday. And instead of trying to justify like some purchases I made as like the hobby, I decided, you know what? I just got to own it. And 121 days, that's what the streak ended up being. 121 days straight of working on the hobby. But I'm not done. I'm going to keep going. Maybe someday I'll share like what I learned about the hobby streak and all that. It's a fun challenge. If you want to do it, go for it. What I learned is that, I do need to think about why I'm doing this hobby and where's my motivation and what keeps me going. And that really started stirring up in me when I was doing the hobby streak. And, being able to share every week the progress has been huge. So even though the hobby streak's not going, that I still want to do a weekly video sharing what I've been doing in the hobby means that I'm gonna get after it still, right? And this week, what you see is what I was able to get after it this week. It wasn't a ton, but, considering I took 3 days off this week after I fell, just stayed there. I'm happy. I'm happy considering this was all in 4 days basically this week. And that's something funny about the hobby streak. I was hoping like it would develop just like a virtue of getting after the hobby, meaning like I didn't have to think about it. I would just kind of do it because that's what a virtue is, right? You do something again and again and again and again. After a while, you're not like spending all that effort to choose it anymore. You just do the good. That's like a vice too. A vice is again and again and again choosing the bad, and then after a while you don't think about it anymore. When the opportunity arises, you just do the bad, right? So unfortunately with the hobby, a lot of the times it feels like I've developed a vice where before the streak, most days, if I was tempted to do something else besides the hobby with a little free time, yeah, I was totally doing that. I wasn't organizing my time. I wasn't considering what I wanted to get done. And it didn't get done. And the hobby streak at least helped me try to develop that virtue of doing the hobby. And honestly, I think it's starting to do it. After 4 months of doing it, that's kind of fun to say. I think it's starting to happen. But enough jibber jabber about the hobby and the approach. Here's some actual hobby to look at. So what's kind of fun this week? Well, let's start with just the smallest piece. This is a Reaper Elf Ranger. And she was really quick to paint, and I'd had her half done on the table for a while, so I just wanted to get her done. So that was cool. Then, of course, I finished some more Umber Hulks. These were last Umber Hulks that I had primed, and I wanted to paint these in a slightly different tone so I could show you all the Umber Hulks I painted during the hobby streak together, which I will in this video. So I did 2 of those. I also did 2 more of these large undead creatures from Rune Wars, and these are a lot of fun. Remember, I do my 2-tone priming, black all around, white from the top, and then I did an indigo dark blue wash on the cloth, and then after doing a little bit of a lighter color on the skin, I then did the whole thing in this sepia wash that dirtied it all up, which was fantastic for what I was going for, and I'm really happy about that. These also feel great because they're on these 2-inch washers, so they've got the heft to them, so they're not moving anywhere very easily and getting knocked over. These are also from Rune Wars. I don't know the factions in Rune Wars, so I'm sorry I don't know what to tell you. These come in like, some of them came in the box with the more desert like spiky faction, if you will. These were really quick to paint. I did a burnt sienna ink all the way around over my 2-tone prime job, and then I did that sepia wash all over. And you can see some sides don't have as much detail as the other, but that's all right. Got 4 of those little guys. And then the reason I wanted to do those was because I had this one from one of their leader boxes. And remember, Rune Wars you can get discounted now if you're looking around, which is really cool. And she's riding this dude around, and that turned out pretty good. which I'm really happy about. I also have, and I should have done it, I should have found it, took the time to find it and then paint it at the same time, her dismounted, right? And that's one of the cool things these Rune Wars boxes come with. Like, I know the old Warhammer Fantasy Battles blisters, some of them did that. You'd have a mounted version of the same mini and a dismounted version. Well, there's a dismounted version of her, which is really cool. So, overall, what is that? 10 figures this week, 10 minis? That's not bad. That's not bad, especially for 4 days, essentially, of work, which I'm really happy about. But I also thought I'd treat you, because there were some comments about my Umber Hulks, because it used to be a joke, and it wasn't a joke when I didn't have time to do anything else. I'd paint an Umber Hulk because they're really easy to do. But I wanted to show you the different Umber Hulks I painted over the hashtag Hobby Streak Challenge. And if you notice, these Umber Hulks all have some different shading, which is really cool. And I was really pleased by. There you go. Sorry about my hand in the way. Awesome. So when you look at all these Umber Hulks, you do get a sense that, okay, I was going to say that they're natural, right? Well, you're never going to find 9 Umber Hulks in nature, but you know in our hobby what I'm talking about. What I mean in this sense that they're natural is not just that they're kind of grimy and all that, but they have different tones, right? Some have darker tones, some have lighter tones, and different shades, which is really cool. Because that's what I mean. When you have a big group of creatures, if you can do just minor differences like that even though they're the same pose, even though they got the same color eyes and the same basing, just some minor difference, like using a burnt sienna ink before you put on the sepia wash, doing 2 layers of just the sepia wash, doing a burnt umber ink before you put on the sepia wash. It really turns out fantastic. So if my party ever comes across 9 Umber Hulks, they're in trouble. But it's cool to know that as just kind of an experiment of, painting something quickly, I could still get varying results based on my technique of different inks than washes. And the same sepia wash on all of them, I think really ties them together too. So there's the Umber Hulks. 9 so far is the total count. I have 3 more that are assembled and ready to be based and primed. So, of course, I'll have a dozen creatures. But I just wanted to thank you for all the support during the Hobby Streak. I'm still going to try to do a weekly update video just called Hobby Week. And I appreciate all the comments and likes and shares and all the good stuff. If you like, miniatures, terrain, D&D, subscribe. But I'm just doing this to share, to stay motivated. This is one of the ways, just like the Hobby Streak was, to stay engaged in the hobby consistently. And I'm still trying to develop the virtue, in the hobby and otherwise in life. So I hope this week is awesome for you. I encourage you to get after your hobby. And have a great week. Go get after your hobby.